you can only watch it for the first time once. It'll be interesting to see what we catch and what we don't.
Did you ever play the video game Mass Effect?
This is where Babylon 5 is becoming Babylon 5.
That was great. I love that.
100% completely accurate, definitive ranking of Babylon 5.
I love it so much.
We're officially into it, Jeff.
The year is 2025. The name of the podcast, Babylon 5, for the second time.
Welcome to Babylon 5 for the second time. My name is Brent Allen.
And I'm Jeff Akin. Brent and I used to be Star Trek podcasters, but then we watched Babylon 5 for the first time and everything changed. Now we're watching this incredible series for the second time, paying attention to all the things we didn't know about the first time around.
And we're still going to be searching for all those sci-fi messages that we find in this series. And we're going to be asking what this episode is trying to tell us. Now, with all of that, Jeff, you know we love our games here.
We sure do.
One of the games we used to love, we played so much during the first run, was the prediction game. But we can't do that anymore.
No.
Yeah, we go back and we see, we'd see what we predicted and how right we were. We're not there anymore. I don't know that this is really a game, but Jeff, I do have a question for you. This is our second watch of Born to the Purple. That's our episode for today. Do you remember what your first thoughts of Born to the Purple were the first time we saw this?
I remember loving this episode. It had a couple, different stories in it, and I liked all of it. We got a lot about Londo. We learned a lot about the Centauri. And I remember being really high on Garibaldi. I think, in fact, if I remember right, in my note, there was a thing of Garibaldi so far is showing the most leadership on this entire station. Do you remember what you thought of it?
I don't remember what I first thought about it, but I remember what my feelings are of it now looking back. Does that make sense? I can't say, because I'm going to say this, and somebody is going to go back and watch our first episode on the Brent, that's not even what you thought. So, but here's what I do remember liking it. I remember liking it a lot. I remember thinking the girl, Lady Adira. Mm-hmm. What was the name of the prophet lady in Signs and Bordens?
Ladira.
And what was Majel Barrett's character name?
Morella. Yes.
Lady Morella.
Yeah, all ladies.
We had Ladira and then Lady Adira. That's not confusing at all. Wow. But I do remember this Lady Adira. I thought she was just going to be a one and done, and she wasn't really going to impact the story more, but the whole thing of Londo saying, we used to be great, we used to do this, and that doesn't mean anything to me. I would trade it all away just for this, for the simple life. And I remember thinking that was really the focus of what this episode was going to be about, and it wouldn't impact us really beyond that particular point. Oh boy, was I wrong about that, and totally happy to be wrong about that, by the way. So
yeah, she kind of affected the story a little bit. Just basically launched the Shadow War into high gear by getting killed. And
I mean, it was the thing, right?
Everything that went on. That's going to be cool. I'm excited, Brent. With that, we're going to watch the episode right here, right now.
Hey, just want to give everybody a heads up. This is an episode that is full of spoilers, and we could talk about anything from any episode of any Babylon 5 from any season from this point forward. So if you have not seen Babylon 5 yet, you should go do that first before continuing from this point forward.
If you're joining us for the first time, every episode is somebody's firsts. The way this works is Brent and I are going to watch this episode for the second time right here. If you'd like to see the full unedited reaction, you can head over to our Patreon page at patreon.com/Babylon5First. That's the number 5 and the word first.
And if you're listening to us on the audio podcasting apps, you're about to hear our reaction to this episode. And then we're going to meet you on the other side where Jeff and I are going to share some thoughts. We're going to talk about any messages that we uncover or anything like that. So, Jeff, let's watch Born to the Purple.
Let's do it.
Man, that music.
Yeah. It didn't set a good tone.
Infinitely better than walkabout music, by the way.
I was going to say.
Infinitely better.
Bar was set very high from go.
Right?
Sit down, don't miss this. Sit.
Oh, look. I want to know what the Centauri word for ass is.
I think it's Malari.
I see.
It's not perfection.
I don't know. She seems to have a lot of...
Gentlemen, Of all things in life, are females not the finest?
On that, Larry, we can at least agree.
Yeah, Jakar's really eager. He's like, yes.
Ambassador Jakar.
Kodoth! I forgot all about Kodoth.
I am Kodoth, the new head of your
I would have thought that
diplomatic
was
staff.
Yes,
that's
I
off,
wasn't
but
expecting
no,
you for
okay.
several days.
So
Proto
To
Netoth.
begin my duties here, so I booked early transport.
Hey, hotspots. How about you meet blow this joint and go play a little scan the sector?
I love it.
This is, Jeff, I remember, I'm pretty sure this is where you and I first started having the conversation of like how people can just do stuff to folks on the station with impunity. Like you just pop somebody and like there's nothing.
No one even looks.
Right. No accountability. Ambassadors doing whatever. And I get it. She's probably got diplomatic immunity and all that, but still, like, dang.
I dug Kodoth. She's great.
She's an angry Narn. Jakar is not digging her, man.
No, not at all. It plays like they have a past relationship.
I feel sorry for Jakar.
I mean, it almost plays like he just doesn't like having an attaché. He doesn't like having somebody else with him. Or they haven't passed. It's one of the two.
Oh. He asked for the bottle service, apparently.
Okay, how do you not see this and now not start thinking of just the logistics of how this is going to work
It was
out?
the dawn
knowing
of the third age of man.
the anatomy of
That's
said Centauri.
it works fine. Works great.
No, it's fine. Like I get Londo. I don't know that I've seen the female side of that. Like, where are the attaching ports? Or
I'm gonna guess they're spread. I'm gonna say probably on the back. In fact, yes, in the council chambers. I got that from Nia. They have 6 along their back.
okay, but listen, Londo has to be really well hung for a dude. Like, because like his whole thing like went under the table, up and over the table, and onto a card.
Well, just imagine, because I figure like either way, because like they come like from around the guy, around like they got to be pretty. They're not doing this back to back. They're not. They might be belly to belly, but not back to back.
But like
Belafonte
think for how long that it like to attach to the back. Like, look, Adira's not that big of a person. Like, you can wrap your arms around her and then some more. Like, this is the analysis we came here for. Andrew says. Look, no.
We're asking
here's
the
thing.
big questions.
Here's the thing. Everybody's thinking it. Yours and mine's job with the microphone is to give voice to what everybody thinks when they see this. Okay, what do you think the history is between Kodoth and Jakar? Like, is this a former romantic, or like I now I have this? They used to be together.
Let's play it up.
This is like their exes, and it did not end well.
So I'm gonna like what I think it was. They were fine. Like it was just like she was an aide around Narn Central or whatever, and they had some. Little affairs around the place and stuff. But then she found out that he used to have a relationship with her mom, and he was literally just like, I have to go get some Narn cigarettes, and I'll be back in 20 minutes, and then left. Then he became, big shot guy and whatever, and hooked up with Kodoth, but then it all came out, and so they're like, That's my story.
And at some point, she walked in on him and some Centauri lady, and like, of all people, like.
Which I think makes so much sense, because that's where Adira comes in, and that ramps up the tension so much. Because like when she came in, she's got the sense of like, hey, there's a Centauri woman up there. Jakar's eating her up with his eyes, just like that time when we and I were supposed to be together in the supply closet. And he's like, oh God, you caught me again.
It makes sense.
We should go update the Lurkers Guide.
If Londo ever shows up.
Great.
He's still weak in the knees right now.
For a moment there, I thought I was dead.
Seemed alive enough a few minutes ago.
Fountain
It's the
of
least I can
passion.
do for the Republic, Ambassador.
Just doing my part.
I hate it when you call me that. So it's my title you wanted all along, huh?
I want no more than I'm getting.
Keeping in mind that not too long before this, a year before this moment, he knew it was a joke that he got this title in this assignment. And here she is. Don't you love your title?
Dreaming of better days.
This is what I remember.
These
from the first
are
watch
my
right here.
better days, Londo. Thanks to you.
This is the foundation for the next 4 seasons.
Yeah.
You're needed.
In the meantime, I suggest you monitor the gold channels more closely in case there's a second occurrence.
I've already seen to it.
Well, then thankfully there's no further need for us to chat.
No hint in that. Like, she's just.
Oh.
What did I miss?
I felt that.
Well, then
Jakar and Kodoth are playing Veer's video game, right?
Yeah.
Watch what is it, Jakar? Yeah, watch what Jakar does. Now watch Veer's reaction. Like, oh, would you do that to my thing?
It's an old LCD. Oh my God.
You have my abject apologies. I was delayed on an important matter of state. The impressive Ms. Koda.
Oh, Ms. What an honorific. Yeah. God, she's awesome. Oh, and Londo knows her from before also.
You are a treasure, Veer.
He grabbed him by his double chin.
I take it all is going well.
Do we
the
see
ambassador?
this guy or someone from his species after this episode?
We don't see this guy.
Man, not this, but do we see somebody from his
Then
species
why
after this
haven't you got the
episode?
purple files from him yet?
It's difficult.
I don't think so.
He doesn't trust me.
You forget your place, Centauri. Do you know why a drunken fool like Malari has the power he has? Because his family has been collecting dirt on other families for years, like all the noble houses of the great Centauri Republic.
Stand by. We'll be right back. Are you ready to take your Babylon 5 for the first time experience to the next level? With our exclusive Patreon, you'll get access to all kinds of cool stuff that you can only find there. Our recording notes, unedited reaction videos, an exclusive Discord community. And you can even be listed as a producer of the show. Plus, we even offer exclusive meet and greets and hangouts. You won't find this kind of experience anywhere else. Get all these amazing benefits, plus the opportunity to interact with other fans from around the world. It's being part of a huge community where everyone shares the same appreciation for Babylon 5. Subscribe at patreon.com/Babylon5First. That's the number 5 and the word first to get access to these incredible benefits. That's patreon.com/Babylon5First. We can't wait to see you there.
He looks like he's just an egg away from being a soul hunter.
Yeah.
A forehead egg away, yeah.
A knife in the back.
Not all
Maybe a few extra
Centauri play
wrinkles.
such games.
Whoa, wait, hold. What did you just
They
say?
wind up like you, without
Maybe I
family.
didn't hear anything, but like I thought I heard something there.
He doesn't trust me.
You forget your place, Centauri. A slave must never lie to her master.
I like what they're talking about here with the Centauri, because like this is establishing them as just this, political quagmire of stuff. Okay.
You know why
Well, we
a
certainly-
drunken fool like Malari.
We certainly get the idea here that the Centauri Republic is not what it once was.
Correct.
Like, this is really building that Centauri used to be here, and it is now not that anymore. And it's freshly not that anymore. This isn't hundreds of years later where everybody's cool and generations have passed. Like, it's the same generation still here that was up here. And you definitely catch the political upheaval and the jockeying and all that sort of stuff that's happening, with the Centauri.
Mm-hmm.
Andrew lets us know that Trachis is a Golian, which we never see again. Fair enough.
Okay.
Oh, and Sarah just mentions that Londo knows Kodoth from the night before.
In my story,
He has
they
the
go
power
back.
he
He had to do with the Centauri woman.
Because
I'm
his
with you on that.
family has been collecting dirt on other families for years, like all the noble houses of the great Centauri.
Man, it'd be great. They never come back to this, do they?
Use the mind probe.
Another piece of like way wild
Know
OP
how.
tech that we don't see again. You don't want to be seen with.
I've already made a
this.
reservation at Fresh Air.
Finest restaurant on Babylon 5.
Finest.
What if we're
Babylon.
seen together? What will people say?
They'll say Ambassador Malari is a most fortunate man. We
Jakar's gonna watch and be like,
live our lives for
There
appearances.
goes my old
Positions,
girlfriend.
status, title. These are the things by which
This-
we define ourselves.
This is the Londo we
But when
need.
Yeah.
I look beneath the mask, I am
Forced to wear. Yes.
I see only emptiness.
Yes.
And then I think of you.
Jeff.
This is everything. Everything.
You're catching it, right?
Oh, yeah.
When I look beneath the mask I am forced to wear, it is empty. Fast forward. He is later forced to wear a mask. For the Drakh and the Keepers. And it is full of something. Where you see, you know what I mean? Think about this. We can dive into this more later, but seriously. Here at the beginning of the story, he has to wear a mask in the Centauri court, in the Centauri whatever, and there is nothing underneath it. We get to the end when he is now the Emperor. He must still wear a mask, but that mask is meant to protect the rest of the galaxy. That mask is meant to protect his mission to keep all of this stuff at bay. And he is just holding this like Tobey Maguire on the front of an L train in Chicago, holding it back.
Well, I think there's such a path, because I think he has to wear multiple masks through this. I think of Coming of Shadows. I think of the episode where he rips up the thing and goes to in the 5th season or whatever. I can't remember what it's called, but he has to wear these masks and pretend to be things he doesn't necessarily want to be. And then in the 5th season, when he's Emperor, I think it's when he was talking to Jakar, and he's just like, before I had no power and all the choices. Now I have all of the power and can make no choices. And it's almost as if what he's saying is what's behind this mask is the power. Because what he doesn't realize right now is that he's the most powerful in his whole life is right now, where he can make any decision, any choice, whatever.
He can do whatever he wants.
And he's staring at what he wants for the rest of his life.
Yeah.
But he doesn't think there's anything behind this mask he has to wear. So he feels like he can't make that choice. Imagine if like right here, she's like, you know what? Forget dinner. Let's book a ticket on the Asimov and get the hell out of here. Let's go. And he's like, yes, let's do it. And he just takes off.
But she has that slave contract. He doesn't know it, but she has that slave contract. What does that mean if she just runs?
Well, he'll take care of it, right? And he does take care of it.
I don't know. Can he? Is he allowed to take care of it?
He does.
I don't know what Centauri law. I don't remember that part.
We'll get there.
Yeah, but my God, and you're not wrong. Like the course of the masks that he has to wear and what lies beneath. But this is where we start. That's where we end with Londo and his mask and what's underneath. Oh my gosh!
Everything that he thought he wanted. And all the other masks he's had to wear are not masks. He's never wanted any of these, or he thought he wanted them.
Except for the one where they're like, "Hey, what do you want? What do I want, Mr. Morden? I want them burning. I want the Centauri back on the top. He wants all of the stuff that he's telling us right here in episode 3. Nah.
It's incredible, incredible.
But imagine what you can do in a moment of anger, a moment of passion, a moment of whatever. You forget who you are, and man,
and I
make the bed, you gotta lie in it.
To hell with appearances.
Display all data on unauthorized gold channel transmissions.
I love how she's actively helping him, knowing that it's her. Like,
look at that smile on her face. But look at that smile.
System clear. No illegal.
Did you see that smirk?
What? Again,
the eyebrow raise.
Make yourself more comfortable while I finish the drinks.
The capital idea.
Yeah, I like that idea. You're not going to slip anything. Oh, no. You're not going to put a thing up to my head or anything like that. No. I want you to remember, Brent, that when you watched this the first time, this is when you started to ship Garibaldi and Ivanova.
Yeah, I'm glad that didn't work out. Because that would have just... And... His eyes roll back into his head.
That kiss ran deep. So deep, put Londo to sleep. It's literally a portable telepath, and we never see this thing again. Look at his eyes all rolled back. He's out of his mind, and he's just like,
tell me
you're
the
my
access
everything.
code for your purple files.
Wine.
Tell me now.
Women. Song.
Triple cipher. Wine. Women. Song.
This guy.
How did you remember that? How did you do that? Oh my word.
Like, how do you forget that? That was epic. Remember their passwords? Wine, women, song, peekaboo. Like,
I remember peekaboo.
Also, she's got to be like, oh my God, I can't believe I had to use a mind probe to crack that.
What's that little red thing on the back of the monitor there?
That's the Dell logo.
Wine, women.
Look at how thin that monitor is, though. That's not like a CRT tube thing.
Well, because it's a future monitor.
Active matrix multimedia display.
Transfer all data to Crystal Port.
She just downloaded all of his green files. I wonder if with that mind probe thing you could like implant. When I snap my fingers, you'll think you're a chicken.
See, I would think that works more like truth serum that we have today, whatever that is.
Sodium pentothal?
Yeah, it doesn't so much extract it as much as it makes you very willing to just have no guards. I just whatever.
Get my coat, will you?
Yes, Ambassador.
Yes. It's like
Veer has no chill, dude. Would be better if he was doing this on purpose. He's not.
Right. No, he's just legit. And honestly, it's just like these moments of like pure naivety and joy in Veer really just make everything that's to come like heartbreaking, really. Like he's gonna murder someone with his own hands.
I have every confidence in you, which is why I am giving you full ambassadorial authority. Be proud, my boy. You are now the voice of the mighty Centauri Empire.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
This is an opportunity.
The spirit. Go now. I'll be along later to see how you're doing.
That's the gift. That's the spirit.
Yes, sir.
Don't give away the homeworld.
No, of course not.
That's another good one that I don't think anybody's made. Don't give away the homeworld.
It would have been cool. She's like, meet me at the Galactic Boutique. You can buy me something nice.
Does she not have to work anymore? Like she had that one night where she was on stage.
Squeeze it in, Although she's probably I imagine Londo's paying for
her time.
Her time. Yeah, she saw real love on the Zocalo.
Hey, who you pushing, Quark face? Out of my way.
Quark face.
Out of my way.
That's a great insult. Quark face.
The script had a word that started with F, but then let's go.
Adira?
He fixed it in looping.
Adira!
She's not there, Ambassador. My name is Trakis. We have a great deal in common. Adira has betrayed us both.
Let's talk.
I still have a hard time believing that you're going to catch an ambassador just walking around without any
If I can get there, Trakis will never find me.
security or anything like
Book
this.
passage for me?
Of course. And don't worry. You'll be safe at my place until then.
Adira, a non-agent? You must be mad. She is Centauri. She's a slave.
Duly contracted by the laws of your own republic. And by those same laws, as her owner, I can be held responsible for any crime she commits.
He's very short.
She's used you.
Viridian
Just
patch?
disappear like that. I don't like that. He could just be there.
Must find her.
Get out.
She lied to you.
He said get out.
For you,
I said get out.
Right. He said, good day, sir. Starlace this!
Commander, Ambassador Jakar.
am the ambassador.
Where's Ambassador Mollari? Oh, Ambassador Mollari is busy with other important matters, but he has given me full authority to negotiate on behalf of the Centauri Republic.
He does not talk like this
You expect me to
throughout the run of the
negotiate
show,
with
right?
No.
Underling?
In the interests of all our government, perhaps we can begin the talks while Ambassador Mollari is found.
Commander, I have done my best to cooperate, but this latest insult cannot be tolerated. I shall return, but one Ambassador Mollari is here and not before. In the meantime,
How's tall you doing with the
will
extreme
represent
emotion
the
Right.
Norn
now?
regime.
Thank you, Ambassador. I shall endeavor to represent our people to the best of my ability.
Just don't give away the home world.
Okay, here's what's awesome, though, about
Bring
this.
him here.
One, I love Kodas's enthusiasm, right? She's just like, this is great, I'm going to do it. Here, 3 episodes in the pilot, we have been educated that the Centauri and the Narn have deep, deep-seated hatred for each other, right?
Mm-hmm.
Also, they ain't so different. The way they're kind of, treating it, like the lines they're dropping, the parallels between them. Like there's this little sub message that even in our greatest enemies, there's a lot of ourselves.
Very similar. They're very similar. I need to just point this out of all things. We've been talking about a lot of makeup stuff here today. Our audio listeners are not going to be able to necessarily understand what's going on here, but I paused. I rolled the video back about second and a half, and it's this. We're locked on Kodoth here, smiling, just cheesing, wide mouth open. She has the most human teeth I have ever seen on an alien.
They're great teeth.
I mean, those are just like there's no color differentiation. There's no spiky whatever. Maybe that's to show us the Narn actually aren't that bad. Because the spiky teeth are the ones who are actually, you know what I mean? Like, isn't that the way that's supposed to go? Look, she just looks so enthused.
Yeah.
Whatever she's about to do. And then she gets so mad when Jakar says that.
Find Londo and bring him here.
What if he refuses?
And I heard him.
This ain't no data bank, Porky. You want to see dancers? Come back in an hour. Too late, Numbo.
Let's do something.
He just patted him on the head.
I was right about you, Ak. You run things tough.
So what is it you want?
Well, we're looking to hire some dancers for a private show.
Get the girls out here.
Sinclair's good at this.
Have yourself a good look. When you're done.
His name's Nork. Bald guy who doesn't speak named Nork.
He's like, hey, can we wait and actually book those dancers?
This is my department. Ladies, we need some information about Adira Terry. She's not in her quarters, but it's imperative that we find her immediately.
Who
Adira has
talks
a friend
like that?
named Girakshi. They roomed together for a while.
And where might we find that friend?
She lives somewhere in Brown 6.
Oh, Delin says in the council chambers chat that Nork is a slang word in the UK. Hopefully we're not going to get in any YouTube trouble for saying it.
I'll pay for it.
McGrath.
Gun 1.
Property secured. Abort mission.
Acknowledged.
This guy is infinitely more like intimidating and dangerous looking than any other criminal we get on this show. Moving forward.
Has your dancer.
Tiny dancer.
The alien sector, somewhere on level 4.
Security, she's in the alien
Right in
sector,
front of his
level
face.
4.
Just like... Whoa!
That is for Adira, and this is for me.
Dude, you just do that on Babylon 5, man.
There they are, my green files.
My dear Jakar, how can I ever thank you?
Ben points out really great in the
saved
chat,
my
like,
career.
it's surprising
And the
that
honor
Psych
of
Court
the
doesn't
entire
have rules
Centauri
specifically
Republic.
preventing workarounds like that from happening.
Sinclair worked everybody on this one.
Adira, you could stay. Now that we have seen beneath our masks, we could have great times together.
Londo, you're sweet, but the wounds are too fresh.
All right.
I don't like this. I don't like this.
No.
You're
And
sweet, but
wear
the
it
wounds are too fresh. No,
proudly
no, no.
as a free woman. Someday, come back to me.
Don't. Because the day you're coming back.
Goodbye, my ambassador.
Unless she just really was never that into him. This is her just trying to get away from him. Like,
yeah.
You know, like it isn't. Imagine that, Jeff. This whole thing, and she really never was that into him. Like, this is all an act right now.
She's like, this is just going to get me some status.
Well, she was doing this thing for her slave master, right? She has a conscience. She doesn't want to be like a bad person. Yeah. But even this right now, he went and did all this stuff for her, so she's going to put the air back on for five seconds before they head right out the door. Like,
long enough to go home. I'd see that. I could also see her being like, hey, we live in a society where the secrets that we have and the dirt we have on people is important. And I have at least 6 dirty things I can say about Londo Mollari.
Right.
All right, Brent, we just finished watching Born to the Purple for the second time. What are you thinking after that?
What a good episode, man. Just a good character-driven episode, you know? This is one of those episodes, if you're watching early show for the very first time, you catch an episode like this and you're like, okay, I can keep going with this show.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like, nothing in this really stands out as anything super important. Nothing stands out as anything that's going to really impact the rest of the show long term, you know, but a compelling story all the way through. Little paint by numbers, effects, makeup, all that sort of stuff feels very early 90s, but well done, well written, well acted, well directed, good makeup all the way through. Good episode, man. Other than that, it's rather unremarkable until you get to the second watch. And this is a quite remarkable episode.
It really is. Really is.
This is first of all, you realize that Lady Adira, the whole story of Babylon 5 hinges on this character. That
Everything.
we never see her alive again, right?
No. Mm-mm. Well, because the next time we actually see her, she's dead.
Is dead, right? Because Day of the Dead, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then I think we see like a couple of like clip show flashback type things.
Yeah, from
That's
this
about
episode.
it. Yeah, and that's it. But the whole story hinges on this chick and setting up Londo for where he is mentally right now to where he dives in. It's what makes Signs Importance really punch. Signs Importance would not punch as hard without this episode doing what it does, And then the whole stuff with Ivanova and Garibaldi playing cat and mouse, and Ivanova thinking she just has one up on him, snarking, and then there's Garibaldi, and you're just marveling at it, going, "Wow, this really was a good episode." Like I liked it before, man. I love this episode now.
What I love about it is when we watched it the first time, we picked up on it. Like we didn't know where it was leading, but we were able to pick up on like he's not where he wants to be. He's not living the life that he wants to live. He longs for things that seem out of reach to him. And then, like you said, the rest of the series went on to tell that story. And we talked about it during the reaction, but he had a line about the masks he is forced to wear and how there's nothing behind it. Oh my gosh. And I think, like, I agree, Signs and Portents has more weight with this, but so does Coming of Shadow. So does Long Twilight Struggle. Like all of those times when Londo showed up with just massive bravado was hinged right here. Like this is that pivot point. If he had never met Adira and just stayed a cynical, lonely old Republican, then we would have had a very different Londo. But we have this taste. He has this moment of like, God, I could have this and it could be so great. We talked a little bit about when she left, did she really like him or whatever, but what was stopping him from going with her? Literally in the episode. So we'll go back even further. We know from Dust to Dust that his getting this assignment was a joke. Ha ha ha, Londo, you can go do this. And he knows that. He's aware of that. And is coming in here with that. He gave Veer full ambassadorial authority.
Yeah.
In a sense, he can wash his hands, walk off the station and whatever. But he felt that draw. I think the societal, cultural draw of this power and title and all that stuff in the Centauri Republic is so strong and has such a root in him. In fact, we know that because we see that pay off in the Fall of Centauri Prime when he's like, I am going to be the biggest heel in the galaxy to save the galaxy and the Centauri people. And all of that starts right here. I thought that was incredible. There's a couple of notes in the Lurker's Guide.
Okay.
One came up in our council chambers chat, but I thought this was pretty funny. Says that talking about when he and Adira woke up in bed and he was wearing his little nightie and stuff like that. It says, it's a standard bed. It works fine, but we did have a thing in mind where Londo sits up in bed having just had a wonderful interaction with Adira, and his hair is now hanging limp. But in a sudden burst of sanity, we decided against it. I think that would have been kind of hilarious. And this comment on Lurker's Guide, I personally loved. So Larry DiTillio wrote this episode. JMS and Larry DiTillio have a long history together and have done a lot of cool stuff. DiTillio really, came from those He-Man days and is very responsible, he and JMS, for She-Ra.
Yeah.
So he wrote this one.
This is the guy. I'm sorry. This is the guy that in the autobiography he had the office across the hallway from.
Yeah.
And they would mess with each other going back and forth.
Little practical jokes and stuff.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, it's pretty fun. But Larry DiTillio's episodes this season are Born to the Purple, which we just said was great. Deathwalker, which made our top 5 for season 1, right? And awesome episode. And he's currently working on a third, tentatively titled TKO.
Yeah.
And yes, he uses blood instead of ink, and unfortunately, it's mine. Ha ha ha, Mr. Straczynski. But Larry DiTillio's getting MVP honors from Mr. Akin right here.
Yeah, you really love that episode, Jeff.
I can't wait for it because wouldn't it be funny? We watch it the second time. I'm like, oh shoot, oh my gosh. Excuse me while I eat this crow.
Here's the thing. Even if that was the reality, you are so in on this episode. There's no way you're going to say that.
I know.
There's no way you're going to come clean on that and say that is truth. Like, you're so in on this whole thing.
I bring such a level of integrity to this show, Brent, that I will be honest.
Because I go back and I say the brilliance of the Ivanova stuff and the brilliance of how they intercut her grief with the fight and the metaphor that goes back and forth. That's what makes that episode valuable. The rest of it's junk and deserves all the crap that it gets. Every single bit of it does. But it's a great episode because of the things that I just said. Isn't TKO where we first get this is really cheesing me off, man?
Yeah.
Or like, come on, dude.
It's great.
But we also learned Garibaldi is the recovering alcoholic in that episode too.
Very important episode. So 2 things that I wanted to point out. I don't know if you have any other things that stood out from the episode, but one, we got the moon-faced assassin of joy in this huge moment.
Yeah.
And to demonstrate the integrity that Jeff Akin brings to this program, I have a plate of humble pie in front of me. I'm going to eat it right here, where I say Michael O'Hare and Sinclair elevated this episode in a very real way. He was great. He had fun. He brought just character to what was a lot of it was a pretty dry script for him. I was really impressed with what O'Hare brought to the character in this episode.
I did not mind him in this episode at all. I thought he was fun. He did not come off to me as like leading man. He did not come off to me as like the guy in charge in a lot of ways, but I thought what he did, what he brought, what he offered to this whole thing was good, and I think that speaks more to what he was given to work with in this episode than it does anything else, I agree. So I can appreciate what you're saying. And frankly, he and Talia and all those other characters pale in comparison to what we saw from Londo and Ivanova and Garibaldi.
Yeah.
From those 3, and I'm not including Andrei Katsoulis in that, as much as I love him, I'm not including him in this particular episode with that.
He was a little arch in this one.
Absolutely. Well,
over the top.
He's still, but they're still, and they told us this in Becoming Superman, they're intentionally making him out to be the bad guy. They're intentionally setting us up to believe this about him right now. So because JMS knows where he's going to take this particular character. So you've got to establish the mustache twirling general baddie badness. You had a great insight in the middle of the episode though, Jeff.
Yeah.
There's a moment when Londo gives over ambassadorial control to Veer, and the words he gives him is, "Don't give away the homeworld." And then there's a moment later where G'Kar hands over ambassadorial control to Natoth and says the same thing, "Don't give away the homeworld." And then you sit there and say, they're basically the same person. They're doing the exact same thing. They're basically the same person. And I thought that was a really fascinating bit of insight into those 2 characters and how they're both being played.
Yeah, I think it was very intentional having that line go across to tell us that. I mean, yeah, it's absolutely brilliant. Did you have anything else on this one, or should we wrap up any messages that we've found? Because that was one of them.
I think we've clearly gotten to that spot where it's time to see if we boil this down. Did we find any messages, any new messages, anything that stood out to us during the course of this episode? Jeff, I will go first if you don't mind. I'm easy. I don't really have any.
No.
Maybe I was just so wrapped up in the episode. I really, the whole thing about Londo, and we talked about it so much, I don't want to rehash it all here, but Londo's talking about wearing a mask and it's just nothing but emptiness here. And later on, he's wearing a mask and there's so much underneath the mask later on when he's in court. Like that's just so great. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, that means you skipped forward through some stuff. go back and listen to the reaction because that's exactly, we dive into that there. Outside of that, I didn't have anything. What'd you have?
I had two things. One of them you just brought up with how Londo and G'Kar aren't that different from each other, and I said in that moment, I said even in our greatest enemies, there is a lot of ourselves in them. And so, I mean, this wasn't the point of the episode or anything, but just in that line, it just really hit me how, again, seeing the humanity, seeing the commonalities that we have in each other. But I think...
Hey, I got a question on that.
Yeah.
Do you think that G'Kar and Londo are basically the same person?
They're different sides of the same coin.
Like, is this Kirk and the Romulan commander from Balance of Terror?
Ooh, I like that.
Between these two guys. Like they're the same person in each world. They think they're very similar in thought pattern and thought whatever and everything that they do. It's just one's on this side of the line, one's on that side of the line.
I think so. And I think also the way that they play each other, like off of each other, they tend to, they're the polar opposite. As G'Kar becomes more sympathetic and we understand him more, Londo becomes more of the villain and, vice versa. But the course of the story slowly kind of brings that around to where they're both finally standing side by side.
Yeah.
I thought a real through line of this episode, and specifically on a second watch, I don't think that I would have picked this up on the first watch, but follow your heart. If Londo had just followed Adira onto that shuttle to Davo, it'd be such a different story moving forward.
Yeah.
So different for him.
Because Veer's not going to answer Morden's question about destroying all of Narn and ruling the galaxy again.
Right. Yeah, everything changes. And he could have been happy. Could have been. All right. Brent, you get the fun this week. One of our favorite things to do is we are very definitive individuals. We are objective in what we lay down. What we say, it's just the way things are. And we're building, once again, the second version of the completely accurate and correct ranking of the episodes in season 1 of Babylon 5. Currently, we've got Midnight on the firing line in the top spot, followed by Soul Hunter. This is going to round out our top 3. Brent, where do you put Born to the Purple?
Well, it's definitely above Soul Hunter.
That's the correct answer. Yeah.
The question is it above Midnight on the Firing Line? Midnight on the Firing Line was a great episode.
Mm-hmm.
It was a great episode. But I've got this is where I put my litmus test to it. Which episode would I want to watch again first? I think I'd rather watch Born to the Purple. So in my ranking, Born to the Purple is going to be our new number 1. Is it going to stay there throughout the course of the season 1? No, it will go down because we know what's coming. But I do like both great episodes. I'm not trying to take away from Midnight on the Firing Line at all. But I think the emotional beats that this one hits with Adira and Londo really put this one above the character development this gives for our characters. This puts this one above Midnight on the Firing Line, which is all you got my guys and here's my nephew and here's this, and like it puts it up above that one for me in my book.
I do know of the episodes we've watched so far, this is the one I've most looked forward to watching for the second time. Like even when we're just diving in, I'm like, oh, Born to the Purple is going to be a fun one to watch for the second time. We'll find out if all of the episodes are ones worth looking forward to. I'm going to tell you right now, Brent, as we've just now wrapped up Born to the Purple, next week we're watching an episode that I'm just going to be super honest about. I have no desire to watch again. We're watching Infection for the second time. What do you remember about Infection? What did you think it was going to be all about?
Because we're talking about like what we thought our prediction was going to be. Right?
Mm-hmm.
I said that this was going to be science fiction 101. Yep. Every sci-fi show does the Infection episode where somebody brings on a disease and it infects everybody, and somehow, some way they have to eradicate the disease before everybody just goes Looney Tunes, and somebody's going to catch the disease or something of that nature. That's really where I was going to go. Jeff, I want to, if I may though, no, I'll take that back. What did you predict this episode was going to be about?
The exact same thing. Yeah. We agreed this is the alien brings something on the ship and an infection, a disease travels around.
If I may, I'd like to give you something to look forward to with this episode.
Okay.
Because if memory serves correct, you fully agreed with me on this. And something I do remember about this episode is one that really just was as bad as we thought it was going to be until minute 27. And then this episode turns on a dime.
It does.
And becomes something great. So look for minute 27.
Yeah, real quick, I want to hold up from the Council Chambers chat, Katerina, who says, just skip to the 27th minute.
Yeah.
We'll see.
I don't think we're going to be able to do that for the integrity of the show, but on personal rewatches, absolutely.
Yeah, we'll see next week if that's what it is. I myself am just going to establish some boundaries for myself and my enjoyment of the episode and protect. Oh, gosh. Well, Brent, that's it. We're done with this episode. We have to head into Infection. Thank you, everybody, for joining us. We're going to watch Infection next week, one way or the other. That's what we are here to do. Don't forget to subscribe.
He's so not looking forward to this episode.
There were some of these early season 1 episodes, man, where I was just like, I don't know if I'm going to be able to get into this show, and this was one of them. Like,
I can think of at least 1 or 2 episodes where I'm going to be you. This part of the episode prior to that, watching that episode.
It's going to be great. But hey, subscribe. Make sure you don't miss these things as they come out. Hit the little bell, all that good stuff. Leave us a rating, leave us a review. Share this show with somebody. This has been a blast. We're so early in this, but I know that Brent and I and our Council Chambers who get to join us when we record, we've been having an absolute blast recording. So join the fun. Share this with somebody who can get into it as well. So as we wrap this up, and Brent, until next time, I don't think I have anything else to talk about. Yeah,
Jeff,
what's up? What?
Hey, we need to talk about that contract deal.
Yeah, I know. I agree.
Listen, no. You have been ducking me for a week on this thing, and we've got to talk about it.
Yeah, because I would rather kiss a Jovian tree worm than talk about that thing.
Well, you have kissed worse things in your lifetime.
I sure have. And Brent, you can kiss my plump.
I mean, we're not some deep space franchise. This station is about something.
Well done, Jeff. Well done.
Oh, thank you. You know, I actually wrote that before the episode even started.